Ah! Hello. So a through line from another vlog. Oh god. The squirrels are chilling today. So, welcome to Fund Mental Health Care. Had to think about it. This is a new project, although it's the same project that it's been for a very long time now. But now, like, a really cool thing about like staying engaged with your ideas and your process is like, as things unlock, you're like, whoa, this fits into another project. And then it's like, whoa, it's all connected. Whoa. Whoa. So I'm back at the garden, I guess, over here. If you didn't see that other vlog, you could be forgiven because it's a completely different subject, although it's all connected. Is it cold? I can't tell. The world is ending. That's what the other vlog was about. Actually, no. No, the other vlog. Okay, it's all connected. So mental health. I actually don't know where to start, and these vlogs are like a sketchbook of ideas, and I've done the crystallized writing and the like formal writing and like all that stuff, but I think adding a visual and like talking component to these ideas is important to connect, and I think these are good ideas. So let me just jump in. So right now I'm observing two people running together. That's a beautiful mental health thing. Having a friend that you could run with, that's a beautiful mental health thing. All right. Oh, there's a new pot over here. That's exciting. Hello, new pot. All right, so mental health. Just to get into the statistics about the real stuff. I don't know if you're watching this and you live in the United States, you're probably already aware that our healthcare system is completely broken and unethical and inhumane. Can go further on that. But that's for another time, although it's all connected. So mental health in the United States. I'm going to localize it to the United States because in the United States we don't have universal healthcare. And like, I think in this moment it's important to be specific about a specific place and a specific system, because ultimately we need to change the American healthcare system. But that could, any sort of like good learnings from the American healthcare system could also reverberate out to other locations and systems. But in my experience, I've experienced the American system, and even in my experience, which has been very great, and arguably the top of the line of like in terms of wellness services, there's still a lot to be improved upon. And that's no beef or no shade with like the experiences that I've had. It's just that like getting into the statistics of it, it's unacceptable. It's a complete shame that we have like the greatest resourced country in the world, and yet people who fought for that country, okay. Every country has a military, but the American military, whoa, that's a whole other situation. But people who put their lives on the line to protect other people within this country are going homeless, and that's unacceptable because of healthcare. And a lot of it has to do with mental health, and it's completely unacceptable. So just to dive into it, some statistics to lay the groundwork or whatever. More than 1 in 5 Americans live with a mental illness. That's approximately 59.3 million people in 2022. That's according to the National Institute of Mental Health. That's 1 in 5 Americans. Over half of the United States population lives in an area with a mental health professional shortage, and most of those areas with that shortage don't have a single mental health practitioner in the county. That is unimaginable. I mean, it's like unacceptable. It's insane. Like, to use that word, it's actually insane. So that is 169 million people in the United States that do not have access at all to mental health services within their immediate area. Only half of people with mental illness even seek out treatment. So of the 59.3 million people with a mental health illness, only half of those people are seeking out treatment. And that's not their fault, because again, 169 million people don't even have access to walk down the street and then even see if there's a therapist to talk to. Suicide is the leading cause of death amongst people aged 10 to 14. That's unacceptable. Mental health disorders cost the economy $57.5 billion yearly, and that's untreated. So that's all completely unacceptable. Like, again, we live in the greatest resourced country, and the powers that be love to be like, oh, like, America's so great, America's so amazing, this is the best country in the world, everyone who lives here has all the resources, and if you can't get it together, then it's your fault. That's the funniest joke. I would love to be a stand-up comedian, and that's the funniest joke, so just put a pin in that. So just as a statement, mental health for all. Wow, controversial. Okay, so getting into it. Telehealth, very exciting situation, although it's limited. So I want to talk about my own personal experiences, but what I really want to talk about is the system, because I don't necessarily want to talk about my own personal experiences like at this moment. But what I can talk about is the system of mental health in the United States as it stands, because I have gone through it, and I would say that I'm a success story from it. Although, like, it's just crazy, because, like, truly, I was aware that I had a problem. Like, literally, I was aware that I had a problem in the 5th grade. It crystallized in my mind that I wanted to not be here on this planet anymore in the 5th grade. And I did actually ask for help, and it was not made available. That's, like, not saying that to be like boo-hoo me, because that's literally an experience of, again, $59.3 million people on the planet, or sorry, in America. On the planet, it's everyone. I mean, ugh. So my own personal experience, I entered therapy at 19 after seeking help from a general practitioner, which was a horrible situation. No offense to that GP, but just don't go to your general practitioner for mental health questions, because they're primarily focused on, like, the body and how, like, the physical body regulates itself in observable like blood pressure and all that kind of stuff. A therapist is going to be the one who, like, really is able to kind of work it all out with you, and then a psychiatrist is going to be able to help you like moderate the physical symptoms of a mental illness. Like, if you have schizophrenia, like, would help, just to localize to my own, I'm bipolar. The meds that I'm on do help me emotionally regulate, because it just takes me out of, like, I'll just become manic. Like, I'll just, like, not sleep if I'm unmedicated, because I'm really, like, intoxicated by the world and ideas and living within it. So I'll just go manic. So the the meds really do help on that, but it's actually the talk therapy that really is the work, because you really have to like process through everything in order to like integrate it within yourself. So again, not wanting to talk about me specifically, but in my experience, I basically have felt and embodied that the process works. It does. Like me, I don't know, like what was this, like 10 years ago or 11 years, coming up on 12, I don't know. Me 10 to 12 years ago at this point, total, like, if I can be rude to myself for a second, total crazy person. Oh my God. Like, I have a lot of empathy for myself, and of that, like, I was just like kind of like in in untreated mania just constantly, and then untreated abject depression constantly. So I like have empathy for myself, but really the core root of the problem is that when I asked for help in the 5th grade, I should have gotten it. And then when I asked for help in the 6th grade and the 7th grade, I should have gotten it. Like, it doesn't matter. Okay. Oh, 11 minutes. Okay, so now we got a part 2 of this. All right. Okay, telehealth. So, COVID, also, what's up, airplane? COVID was, for everyone, horrible. That was a really horrible experience. I love the people who are like, I actually really liked COVID. I'm like, that's like so unrelatable. But so telehealth really took off in COVID, and that was actually a really great thing, because like telehealth, if half of the United States population doesn't have access to mental health services, it's something. It may not be the in-person talk therapy with the long-term work where you're actually having like a long-term conversation with someone about like your life and being able to integrate it and work on healing yourself for like a long period of time. But like it is a FaceTime with someone who is a trained professional, and that is life-saving. As I love a tangent. So as a pin, I would say like I, having experienced both, I love in person so much better, because making actual eye contact with an actual human instead of a screen, like worlds of difference. Okay, so telehealth. We have BetterHelp now. Great. A new thing that I've been working on, or like, okay, a new thing that I've been experiencing for myself is I'm completely like obsessed with ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. I love it. It's amazing. So I've been using ChatGPT as a productivity tool for since it launched, and that's been really helpful and amazing. Sorry, I'm just like a memory. Yeah, so I've just been using it as a productivity tool for like a very long time since it launched. It's a very helpful tool to write, very helpful tool to code, very helpful tool to like do anything really that you need. But what is under-examined is just like using it as a kind of like a sounding board. It doesn't replace a therapist at all, but like, as an analogy, I had a conversation with it about like essentially how to de-radicalize people. Like basically, like we have a really hard problem right now globally, but like in the United States for sure, because we just elected a fascist, which is really scary. But completely removing myself from like thinking about that right now in this context, like ChatGPT is a great tool to de-radicalize people because it has infinite patience and it has like infinite context. Like it will just like it will not allow you to be a Nazi. Like, it holds that line really well. But since it has like infinite patience, it will infinitely be like, oh, well, have you considered? Oh, well, have you considered? Oh, well, there's a problem in your thinking there. There's an incongruity in your logic. Have you considered? Have you considered? So that's a really great thing. In combination with a actual human like therapist to help integrate those learnings and conversations, there's so much to be done there. So I've been using ChatGPT in my own personal work because like I have a lot of really deep questions. I'm a very deep thinker, not to like, I'm just like a deep thinker, and I think a lot, and I have a lot of stuff to work through. And I've worked through a lot of it, but I do have a lot of very specific questions that really can be dived into for a very long time, and a long enough time that it doesn't fit in like to a single hour of therapy. But what I get to do is I get to dive into that 10-hour conversation and then pull those learnings into my in-person therapy, where I get to be like, oh, well, like, I just like had a massive epiphany. Can we just like dive into this epiphany now? And that's an amazing thing, because it's this like, in the future, what I see is like people should have like universal access to talk therapy, but those therapists should have like everyone who's in talk therapy should essentially have like a ChatGPT kind of like a pocket therapist to go over like these like more double click issues. And then all of that conversation should be like searchable and readable by like that therapist, and even like summarized and then given to that therapist in like an email or something. Like that's a product that could exist. And actually that is okay, so never mind. I kind of already like thought of that. That's a whole story like that deals with billionaires who are currently in the cabinet of next year's administration, and I just like don't want to think about it right now. But so like that could happen, and we have the technology for that to happen today, which is really exciting, because truly that means that everyone would be able to have like a therapist to go infinitely in depth with, and then a therapist who would be able to kind of discuss the learnings and the summarizations. That's massive. So that's my vision for the future in terms of like telehealth, but there are things that need to happen before then. Like more therapists need to be trained, which is a thing that could happen with the government, i.e. like tax credits or scholarships. All these things that could all happen. I've sent my emails to my former town. It didn't work. I don't think it will. But I think just talking and writing about these ideas in like the non-5,000 people town that I lived in before, I think could reverberate, maybe do something. I don't know. So ChatGPT, actually, you know what? It could like directly integrate with BetterHelp. Like that's something that could happen like today. So maybe I'll send that email. So societal macro level implications. I already touched on this before, and if I'm allowed to swear just for a second, it's completely fucked up. Like it's completely fucked up and unacceptable that veterans are going on the street homeless. Does anything else need to be said? Like that's just fucked up. Okay. It's like so unacceptable. It's like so shocking that happens, because it's just so shocking. Like that is a system that is a failed system. Like our system is completely like failed. It's a failing system. It's not even failing. It's not even failing like the New York Times. Kidding. Although actually no, I think the New York Times is doing really well with their audio podcasts. Like I like their podcasts. I don't read much of the New York Times anymore. This is a tangent. That was a joke about the horrible fascist who was elected, if you got the quote. But I do like the New York Times. So I think the time for jokes is over. That's a joke. You do need humor. Okay. Bringing it back to the moment. All right. So veterans, homeless, mass incarceration, these are societal macro level implications of like the lack of access to mental health treatment. I'm actually just getting a memory right now that, it's like so bad. So there was this one night where I was Ubering in, I was like driving, I was being an Uber driver in the Loop, and there was this man who was having a mental health breakdown. Like he was in crisis, completely obviously in crisis. And like I remember I picked up someone and she like called someone to do a wellness check on him, and in that moment I was like, oh, like that's good, like I'm glad that that's able to happen. But now stepping back this far away, I do remember now how those wellness checks turn into like people dying. Like, so that's a massive problem. So like the problem is like people should never end up in that situation where they are on the street having a crisis because the system that they live within failed them so profoundly that they ended up in that situation. It's completely unacceptable. Like, it's completely unacceptable. Like, I refuse to accept this system. I almost refuse to accept this system as it stands anymore. Like, I mean, have I ever really accepted it? I don't think so. But like, it's so hard to live within it because of here. This is a callback to a different vlog, but like, this is someone who wanted food, and this community garden specifically asks people to not take food from it, and he's literally just, in my mind, whoever it is, literally is just saying, I just want food and the government is not giving me nutrition. Like, it's unacceptable. Like, to tie it to different, and actually it's coming up, but basically tying it to a different vlog, like, if you're schizophrenic and in our current system, you need to have a job to get healthcare. If you're schizophrenic, you're never going to get that job because you're going to be unwell from jump. So you're never going to be able to get that job that gives you that healthcare to treat your schizophrenia. So you'll just end up on the street and you'll end up having a crisis. And it should not be put upon anyone to deal with that, because it shouldn't even be put upon the person who is there to experience it. It's just like, this system is so inhumane, it's unacceptable. And that's all I gotta say. Like, that's truly all I have to say about like the system. In terms of what else I have to say, it's just like, let's fix it. Like, we need to fix it immediately. So if I'm gonna do my little part 3, if I'm gonna do my like horrible economist like hat on, I'm gonna take my this hat off and put my economist hat on. I don't have one, but so mental health, it costs the system. Okay, so already said, it costs the system yearly $57.5 billion. That is people who, that is people who are economically unproductive. That's like such a horrible clinical term, but it's just people who are economically unproductive, not being fully utilized, and they're not able to actualize for themselves. So that costs the system a lot of money. And like, why are we allowing that money to be like cost, like when it could be a benefit, where it could be like, oh, all of these people, how many people again? These 59.3 million people, what if they could actually self-actualize and be economically productive instead of quote unquote costing the system however much money? Like, it's like, why are, like, it's just like, it's setting people up to fail and then like laughing at them and then punishing them for failing. It's insane. It's just completely unacceptable, and we just need to stop doing it. And it's possible to stop doing it, so we should just stop doing it. Although horrible, because next year's administration. So we may have to do it without the government, unfortunately. Okay, so already got that. Insurance is tied to work. How can you work if you're unwell? You can't. So that's how people just end up in the situations that they end up in. So it's just a problem. And then stigma. Don't complain. Don't seek help. Stigma affects everyone in every different way. For my own personal experience, like the boys don't cry thing, that hit me really hard. I really hated my male experience growing up because no offense to men, I just really don't like them. But unfortunately, I am a man, unfortunately. So like the boys don't cry thing, like truly, like there were times, like I remember growing up in elementary school, like I'm a sensitive guy. So like I would just like cry, and then like I would just like be mocked for crying, or like there were times where I taught myself to not cry by feeling the tears, stopping the tears, and then like turning my head just so that the tears would go back inside my tear ducts. That's crazy. When I could have just been allowed to cry. Like that's so funny. But that doesn't matter, because again, not about me. I truly don't care. Like, I care. The only thing that I care about is that it doesn't happen to other people. Like, because we have all the solutions, we have the society. So why not just like let the solution happen? Mental health care for all. Is that such a radical thing to say? Just to say it as the disclaimer, I think the solution isn't so much in the Luigi realm. I think it's more like doing something productive. Oh no, am I gonna be killed for saying that? Oh no. Oh. Can we design a system outside of the system? Can we design a system within the system? Can we fix the system? Can we do tweaks, edits? Remember in COVID when like we stopped emitting so much carbon that literally nature was healing? Like, do you remember the nature is healing bit or whatever? Like when you make changes, the system does heal itself because we live within a system. So if we just started making like the right changes in terms of like giving healthcare to all people, like the system would just like fix itself. Like, I mean, not everything, but like it would start to fix itself, which is just amazing because like people would be able to like not be so angry that they are being punished for living, that they just like don't care. That's where we're at right now. And if we could get it so that everyone could have healthcare and care about their lives because they're able to live well, that would be the system to live within. So how we get there, I'm not gonna, that's not up to me to say and to define and to be the one who makes the system. But a really cool thing about decentralization technology and decentralization concepts is if you design a decentralized framework, if a decentralized framework is designed, then people can actualize for themselves. I'll get into that later because those are big concepts or whatever in terms of like what is a decentralized framework. But like essentially what we need right now is we need funding for mental health care because we have, again, half of the counties in the United States do not have a single therapist or mental health practitioner. Unacceptable. So that's something to start right there. Funding to get people mental health treatment. So what is Fund Mental Health Care, this project? I don't necessarily know where the funding will go, if it's best used for literally just giving people like credits for BetterHelp, because that is something that you can do is you can gift BetterHelp like credits. I think it's $80 a month. Or like scholarships for like therapists. I don't know. So I don't know. That's something to figure out. I think to start, it would be the BetterHelp thing because to start, I'm absolutely not going to raise enough money to put anyone through college, let alone myself. As a pin, I would love to become a therapist. I truly, like last year, I was like, wait, what if I became a therapist? Because like I felt just like a massive amount of clarity, and I was like, oh my God, I think I need to be a therapist. But then I was like, I have no time or money or ability to go to grad school for 2 years, so I just can't do that. So this is what I'm doing. Did I get to it? I think, is this a good first vlog? Flag hole. Mental health care for all. And I love everyone. And yeah. Actually, no, I don't. I hate Donald Trump, and I'll say that. I hate him, and I don't care about him. If I'm allowed to hate one person on the planet, it will be Donald Trump, and I don't care what happens to Donald Trump, but I care what happens to everyone else. You told me, look for the North Star, and then you'll see. Oh, amazing song. Okay, so just a little fun personal tangent. I'm standing in a garden right now. Ooh, there's like people around, so I don't want to. Oh. But I'm standing in a garden, very beautiful. Oh. I wouldn't move back, but somewhere where I used to live, I did garden a lot, and I basically just did this for like so much time. But it's a beautiful full circle moment, I guess. Yeah, cool. That's the amazing thing about living a examined life and self-reflecting, is you constantly have full circle moments, because it's just like, whoa, I'm the same but different. Whoa, cool. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here because, oh yeah, what am I doing? Okay, that's something I could talk about that. Right now I'm making music, which is really fun. Making like lo-fi music. I'll probably expand into some other genres. I have another project that I was like working on for like renewable energy. It's very exhausting, just like go back and forth. I wish I just like picked one thing and like did it, but it's just like there's so much work to be done. Yeah, so music, probably will do like events, because I've done these things before, and I just need to reapply them to the new project. And then hopefully it's like a good enough idea that people just do it for themselves, and then they're like, oh, I can fundraise too. Whoa. Cool. All right, I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna eat something. I haven't eaten anything today, and then I was like, oh, I should probably eat something, because like that's something that's hilarious, is I just like never eat, like, because I'm just like way up here, and then I'm like, oh my God, why am I just like so hungry? Oh, because I've completely left my body, and now I'm back, and then I realize that I'm hungry. Oh no. Oh. So gonna get back to it. Is there anything else? I think that's it. Thank you. Mental health for all, and love yourself.